Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time into something I think we all think about a lot.
Yeah?
But maybe not in this way.
Yeah, definitely not in this way.
We are talking about the psychology of money.
Absolutely.
So not just like, how to invest or anything like that, but really the psychology, like how our brains work with money and how that impacts all of our decisions.
Yes, exactly.
So we've got a really interesting book to go over called, appropriately, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel.
I love this book.
And some articles that either review it or touch on some of the same topics.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, just even like skimming the surface here, there's some stuff that's like, oh.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, like, did you know that like most of Warren Buffett's billions came after he turned 50?
After 50.
Like, wild.
Oh, no.
Or that being rich and being wealthy aren't necessarily the same thing.
Right.
So we're going to unpack all of that. And to help us do that, we have an expert.
Here I am.
Who can connect all these personal stories to the bigger picture.
Yes.
So one of the first things that kind of jumped out at me in like all these materials was just that financial success isn't really primarily about being intelligent.
No.
Or even having knowledge about money.
Right.
It's about behavior.
Yeah, that's exactly what Housel says in the book. It's so interesting how emotions and biases can sometimes lead us to make decisions that aren't in our best interest.
It's like our feelings are hijacking our logic.
Literally.
When it comes to money.
Absolutely.
So how do we navigate that if it's not about like being a math whiz?
Right. Well, he also says that luck and risk play a bigger role than we like to admit.
Okay.
So, just think about Rihanna.
Wait, Rihanna the singer?
Yes, Rihanna the singer.
What does she have to do with?
So he uses her as an example of you can have all the talent and the smarts in the world.
Oh.
But there's still financial risks that can pop up unexpectedly. And she actually at one point almost went broke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this really highlights what he calls tail events.
Okay.
Which are those rare but very impactful occurrences that can make or break you.
So that's a little scary.
It is a little scary.
But also like realistic.
Totally.
Okay, so we got to be prepared for those tail events.
Yes.
But like how do people consistently build wealth?
Right. That's where the magic of compounding comes in.
Okay.
And he uses Warren Buffett as an example here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember reading that.
Yeah, so most of his wealth was actually accumulated after he turned 50.
Oh, wow.
Which shows how important patience and long-term thinking is.
So it's not about like getting rich quick.
No.
It's about slow.
It's about slow and steady.
Steady growth.
Yeah, like a little tiny seed that grows into this huge oak tree.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
So it takes time.
So how can we harness the magic of compounding? Yeah. Do we all need to be like stock market experts?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The important thing is to just start investing early and consistently, even if it's with small amounts.
Okay.
And over time, it'll grow.
So more about being disciplined than like picking the right stock.
Don't try to time the market.
Okay.
Just be consistent.
So this kind of goes back to the whole rich versus wealthy thing.
Exactly.
So explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so our culture kind of pushes us to spend a lot of money. And that's what Housel would consider being rich.
Okay.
But true wealth is about saving and investing wisely.
Yeah.
And he even has this quote I love.
Yeah.
He says, wealth is what you don't see.
Oh, yeah. That is a great quote.
It is.
It's so true, though.
It is.
Like, we think about wealth as like
fancy cars.
Yeah, all the stuff.
And the big houses.
But it's really not. It's not.
It's more like what you saved and invested.
Right. And like not spent.
Yeah.
So how do we resist that pressure to spend?
Yeah, that's a great question.
When we're constantly being...
Yeah, and it's something we'll dive more into.
Okay.
But one thing is figuring out what enough means to you.
Hold on. Defining enough.
Yes.
What does that even...
I know it sounds simple, but think about it. A lot of people, they get these higher salaries, but they still never feel like it's enough.
Right.
And that's because they're constantly working more, earning more, and spending more, and they just never reach a point of contentment.
Okay.
And Housel says that's because their goalpost keeps moving.
Yeah.
They haven't actually defined what financial security and fulfillment looks like.
Got it.
For them.
Okay.
Personally.
So it's not just about like hitting a certain number. It's about figuring out like what actually matters to you.
Exactly. And then making sure your money decisions match those values and priorities.
Got it.
Which leads us to another interesting point he makes. The idea that money's greatest value isn't actually about stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's about freedom and control.
Okay.
He calls this the highest dividend.
The highest dividend. I like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of shifting the focus away from just accumulating wealth to actually using it.
Exactly.
Okay, so what does that actually look like?
Right. So like if you have enough money that you can control your time, you can pursue your passions, spend time with people you love, or just have peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's true wealth.
It's funny you say that because I'm thinking about like all those people who chase bigger and bigger salaries.
Right.
But then they're like trapped in this cycle
Yes.
of work and stress.
Totally.
They might be rich.
They might be rich.
But are they really wealthy?
Right. Exactly.
If they have no time to enjoy it.
That's the paradox.
Yeah, okay.
So it's about recognizing that money is a tool.
Okay.
And you can use it for good or bad.
So how do we actually put this into practice? Like what advice does he give?
So one recurring theme is the importance of a high savings rate.
Okay, but like saving can feel like a sacrifice when we're constantly being told to spend.
Exactly.
Okay,
so how do we...
He actually talks about being reasonable rather than rational. Okay. So sometimes the perfectly rational choice might be to save every penny.
Oh, okay.
But if that makes you miserable, it's not going to work long term.
Right. I've tried that. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So finding a balance then.
Yes. Find that balance where you can save consistently without feeling deprived.
Okay. Is there like a magic percentage or something?
Not really. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but just make it a habit.
Okay.
Even small amounts make a difference over time.
Okay. And that ties back into that compounding thing.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Another thing he says is don't worry about what other people are doing.
Oh, that's hard.
I know. But focus on your goals and your own risk tolerance and create a plan that works for you.
Right, because it's so easy to get caught up in the comparison game.
And feeling like we're not doing enough.
Exactly.
Or we're missing out.
Yep.
Speaking of comparison, he also talks about pessimism versus optimism.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
And how pessimism might sound smarter.
It does sound smarter.
But optimism is actually a better bet.
Right, in the long run.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Even when like things look kind of bleak?
He says our brains tend to focus on the bad stuff.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true for me.
Right. But we underestimate that slow and steady progress.
So having a balanced perspective.
Yes.
Things go up, they go down.
And overall, they tend to get better over time.
Okay.
It's not about ignoring the risks.
Yeah.
But just recognizing that optimism can actually help you build wealth over time.
Okay, I like that. It's not just about the numbers, it's about our mindset.
Absolutely.
Like how we view money really impacts our choices.
Yeah, it all comes back to that idea of figuring out what enough is for you.
Oh yeah, that enough thing.
Yeah, if you could design your perfect life, what would it look like?
That's a big question.
It is.
I think for me, like if money wasn't an issue, it would be a lot about freedom.
Correct.
More time with family and friends, travel,
Well,
maybe do some creative projects.
I love that.
You know, give back to the community.
That's a great vision. And it really shows that true wealth isn't just about money. It's about having the time and resources to live a life you love.
It's about doing what matters to you.
Exactly.
Family, friends, hobbies, even making a difference in the world.
Yes. And that's exactly what Housel means by the highest dividend. It's about controlling your time and using it in a way that brings you joy.
This has been really eye-opening.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm looking at money in a whole new way.
That's what we want.
It's not just about the end goal.
Right.
It's a tool to build a better life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone listening feels that way too.
Yeah.
Remember, you're in control of your money. Don't let it control you.
So for anyone who's feeling inspired, what's the first step?
Ask yourself some questions. What does enough mean to you? What are your financial goals? And most importantly, what are your values?
Okay.
Once you know that you can start making decisions that align with your vision.
It's a journey.
It is a journey.
Not a destination.
Not a destination.
I like that.
There will be bumps in the road.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you keep your values in mind and stay focused on the long term, you'll get there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the psychology of money.
Absolutely.
Hopefully this gave everyone some good stuff to think about.
Yeah, some new tools for your toolbox.
And we will be back next time with another deep dive into some fascinating ideas.
See you then.
Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.